Hi there, and welcome to my YouTube channel. The name is Gorata.Selaledi. I'm so excited to be here today on another beautiful Friday evening. How was your week? I realized the one thing that I haven't been doing in my videos ever since I've started finding a structure is actually not checking in, but I checking in on the screen, but I do check in actually prior to coming into the video, really just thinking about what's on my heart pertaining the video that I'm about to do. What does God want to say to me for the season of my life? And I hope that even before jumping into reading the word, before jumping into sharing the thoughts that I have to share with you today, you will take a moment to just reflect and think about how you're feeling coming into today's video, what you're hoping to get out of even reading the word and praying for God to speak and say something into your life, even as we read Genesis 9. But otherwise, hi and welcome. This is a sound check. So just as a check-in, the one thing that's on my mind is how I am going to navigate the next 2 weeks, because I am going to have to be in hyper mode in terms of my content creation, because August is going to be such an interesting month for me. And the hope is to still maintain the consistency. So I think next week, Saturday, is going to be a full content day for me, where I am going to be recording back to back to back to back, and creating content for the next 2 weeks. And luckily, I have been able to figure out how to clean out my memory, in terms of the photos that I've been carrying on my cloud that have been backed up on Google Photos that I don't need anymore, thanks to my husband. So I will be able safely to record and keep content that I'll be able to upload to my studio, and so I'm grateful for that, feeling grateful for that coming into today's video. But welcome if you're only joining me for the first time. The name is Gorata.Selaledi. I am a faith-based content creator and create videos every Sunday, Monday, and Friday. And if you're looking to see more of these kind of videos, please do click on that subscribe button. And I am also a certified life coach, and I am running since July free coaching programs that I will be running for 8 weeks back to back to back to back. By the time we celebrate a year next year, July, I would have had 6 programs running. So we are here for a while. That is my commitment coming onto this platform. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you, and thank you for following the journey and being part of my journey here on this platform. Thank you for being part of the community. Please do just comment on the comment section and just write OG, the OGs. I saw it from the series that we're watching on Netflix called The Mole. The first episode, they're like, OG, Team OG. But anyways, if you are an OG, please do leave it in the comment. If you've been here since my long form content days when I used to create the hour-long videos, please leave it in the comment. I'd love to give you some love. But let's get right into the word. Today we're reflecting on Genesis 9. I hope that this video will bless you and bring a bit of light into your life today. So let's get into it. So I will be reading and you're hearing Genesis 9 from the King James Version. I hope you have your Bible with you close by. I have my small pocket Bible with me today, and I will be reading the full chapter. All right, so here goes. And the title in my Bible says, God blesses Noah. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth. Just gonna check the mic. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. And you, be fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein. And God spoke unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of the flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And a bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, and that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant between... this is the token... And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be a husbandman, and planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine, and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. And that concludes the reading of the Word. So in Genesis 9, we are following up Noah and... that fly is bold. We're following up Noah and his family having had come out of the flood. He's Mr. Bailey. Yeah, so having had come out of the flood and now having to establish, I think, the one word, and you saw me, I think, as I was reading past 16 and 17, I got tripped up because the one word that is reoccurring, I think, from verse 8 is the word covenant, right? So God reiterates, and the Bible continues to reiterate here to then said, And I will establish my covenant with you, and I will establish my covenant with you. This is the token of my covenant. I set a vow as a token of a covenant between me and you, and I will remember my covenant, to remember this everlasting covenant. And God said this is the token of the covenant, right? So it goes on and on and on, touching on covenant. And I think coming into today's video, that is the word or the key word that we are taking with us as we step into the weekend, as we step into, I guess, closing off week 3 of July. And I looked up the word covenant, just for us, I guess, just as a takeaway moving into the weekend, as I just shared. And the definition reads as follows. It says, a covenant is a formal and binding agreement between two or more parties. And with reference to the Bible, a covenant is a solemn agreement between God and humans involving commitments, promises, and obligations from both sides. And what we're seeing in Genesis 9 is, I'd say, a continuation of the covenant that God had established in the beginning with Adam and Eve, the covenant that he had established with Abraham and Sarah. And now we're moving on to learn about covenant through the life of Noah, right? And what we're seeing, I think, just from the definition and the key learning point that I'd want for us to really reflect on and reflect in terms of looking at our lives, to say, when looking at the definition, something that stood out for me was the end of the definition, to say that there are commitments, there are promises and obligations from both sides. There are commitments, promises, and obligations from both sides. It's very interesting that when this conversation is happening, God is reiterating his side of the deal, to say that I am establishing a covenant with you. And God even reiterates at the beginning of Genesis 9 to say that on your side, your end of the covenant is then to be fruitful and multiply, right? And the key word that comes up when I think about just this reiteration that God is making to Noah, to say be fruitful and multiply, is the word stewardship, right? To then say God has entrusted us with resources, and resources can be time, can be what you have materially, resources can be the environment that we live in. To then say God has entrusted us with all of these things, and he has trusted us to then say you will be stewards of these particular things that I have put in your care, right? And a good steward in this case, and I think the big expectation that we're taking away from what God is calling us to do through Noah's life in this case, to say be fruitful. And I'm reading from verse 7. It says, and you be ye fruitful and multiply, bringing forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein, right? I don't know how you have been personally stewarding your time, your finances, particularly regarding your life and the season that you are in right now. But I'd want us to take this time to then say, if then I was to institute a certain level of commitment, if I was to make certain promises, if I was to also then take up certain obligations in terms of how I'm going to spend my time, how I'm going to spend my money, how I'm going to take care of the environment and the animals that you coexist with, how you're going to take care of each and every resource that God has entrusted into your care, no matter how big and or small. I'd want for you to really think about it, to then say, in the past week, how have you been stewarding your time? In the past week, how have you been stewarding your resources? And going back to that place of covenant, to then say all of these resources are actually coming from the source in this case, right? So God is the source, and he's giving us to resource these resources that he gives to us. That felt like a bar. But I digress, right? So God is the ultimate source in this case. He gives us time. He has blessed us with life to be able to wake up this morning. He has blessed us with money to be able to get by, with food, with our family, with the animals and the plants that are in our environment. And what are we doing? What are we doing with all of those things? Right? And there's one thing that I love that our pastor in Kingdom City loves saying, to say that our lives are our, our life is God's gift to us, and us then giving out our time, and this is me paraphrasing in reference to stewardship, that I then take my life and all that is within my life as a gift back to God. So how you posture yourself in terms of how you use your time, how you use your money, how you use your energy, as a way of cementing, I'd say, the covenant that exists between you and your Father. So what does that look like practically for you in the coming week? And I've noted down 4 things to just have you really think about what the practicality of the covenant could look like in our case in the 21st century. Still taking on that word and that call and that challenge to be fruitful and multiply. And for the fact that God says that He will remember this covenant, it still stands today. So let's have a think on practical ways we can apply the lessons or the key takeaway or the charge that we get from Genesis 9 in the next. So there's so much that we're getting from, I'd say, the conversations and the story that is being shared in Genesis 9. We see a bit of Noah's humanity at the end of Genesis 9. There is, I guess, that lesson that is coming out very clearly to say, as humans, we are innately sinful, but there is this strong message of grace that we are seeing even before we are shown. No. Where we no. Their nature is to bark when there's seemingly danger outside. And I actually spoke too soon. My memory is not what it is. My memory is not what I truly honestly thought I solved the problem, but I clearly did not. But lessons, eh? In terms of my storage, the prayer is that I will have bigger storage come end of August. I'm believing for it as one of my big buys, for not only for this platform, but just as one of the things that I had as my birthday wish list for my 30th. But in thinking about how we can practically apply Genesis 9, here are a few thoughts that I've penned down for us to take away for today's video. So the first one is embracing God's promises. And I think I'd want to challenge you to go to Google, go to ChatGPT, and come up with a list of promises from the Bible that you can actually pray over yourself, pray over your family, pray over your situations, because there is actually a promise for every single situation that you live through. And I want to just ask for you to dedicate 5 minutes every morning, 5 minutes before bed. I will actually also take it up, since I want to make time to pray for my husband this week. And it's just then to say, for every single area that you've decided to choose to pray for, there is a word and a promise that God has spoken about that particular area. And we can trust and believe that indeed every single word that God has spoken concerning you will come to pass, right? And the second thing, looking at the call to be stewards from Genesis 9, is to live your life with reverence for life, right? And in thinking about reverencing life, honoring and respecting each and every person that you encounter, from the lowliest of the low to the highest of the high, no matter the status, I'd want to challenge you to move with a sense of honor and respect. Also remembering that each and every person you encounter is created in God's image, even creation. I think the one big thing that stood out for me from Genesis 9 was how God spoke about that the covenant is not only between us, but also the creatures, right? And I'm just looking looking for it. Yes, it's in verse 12. It says, "And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations." And it makes sense to then say in the Bible, there is a verse that says creation is groaning and waiting for the manifestation of the children of God. And in this case, it's to say they understand the call to intimacy with God, to then say, even for each and every one of us, there is that groaning in the earth, an anticipation of each and everything that is alive, waiting for you to come into the realization of who you have been created to be in God, right? And the third thing is practicing responsible stewardship. Practicing responsible stewardship, and this speaks specifically to taking care of our environment and the resources that have been entrusted to you. Taking care of our environment, and this goes to small and big practices in terms of how you lead out your life. So being mindful and being very realistic in how you actually take care and steward the environment that you are living in. And then lastly, celebrating and sharing God's grace. Celebrating and sharing God's grace. And I think it's just then to say God is so gracious in having had even given us his son to die for us on the cross. The joy that you enjoy, the joy that you enjoy. The joy that you enjoy from simply having been saved and having a relationship with Christ, I pray that may it overflow into the lives of each and every person that is connected to you in such a way that they enjoy and they get to experience the same grace that God extends to you on a daily basis. As sinful as you are, the covering that you enjoy from the blood of Jesus, I pray that you will be able to celebrate it by how you show up in your life and share it with the people that are connected to you. Otherwise, we have come to the end of this video. Just as a closing thought, we will be moving on to Genesis 10, and it's almost very similar to Genesis 5, where we are going to be going through a list of names and looking at the generations of Noah. And I think it's just testament to God's call to be fruitful and multiply and inhabit the earth. We will be seeing how that looked like in the time of Noah. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. I hope that it has blessed you and challenged you to have a think around your own lived experience. And I hope that it draws you closer to reading and understanding the word for yourself. We will be here for a while. We're only at Genesis 9, and there are 1,189 chapters in the Bible, so we've only scraped the surface. See you in the next Faith Friday video. It has been such an awesome time. My name is Gorata.Selaledi. I pray that may God's favor locate you and may his grace sustain you as you move into this weekend and welcome week 4. Is it week 4? Week 4 of July. Otherwise, be blessed. It's goodbye from me.